This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. Low-income families will be provided financial assistance for the next 3 months. The Minister of Agriculture alleges that activities of some officials delayed the purchasing of paddy. Operations of the Western Terminal of the Colombo Harbour will commence in 2024. 3 telephone numbers introduced for overseas employees to inquire on importing electric vehicles. And on foreign news, thousands of people queue overnight to pay respects to the Queen. And on sports news, Mithali Raj predicts bright future for women's cricket in India. A program to provide assistance for low-income recipients during the next 3 months will be implemented by the Treasury with the assistance of the Asian Development Bank. More than 51 billion rupees have been given as assistance for low-income recipients in June and July under the World Bank assistance. 3.2 million low-income recipient families have benefited. Secretary to the Ministry of Women's and Children's Affairs, Social Empowerment, Neil Hapuhen, revealed this during a media briefing today in Colombo. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that purchasing of paddy has been delayed due to activities of certain officials. He said it is regrettable that certain officials not releasing funds to purchase paddy from the farmers, although sufficient amount of funds released to import paddy. Taking part in the Dasadesing Hatha program of the SLBC today, he said that their aim is to embarrass the government. Meanwhile, seeds were distributed today among the farmers to cultivate 15,000 acres of maize. The distribution took place at the UN office in Colombo under the JICA financial assistance. Speaking on the occasion, Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that plans have been made to cultivate 5,000 hectares of maize this time. He pointed out there is a demand to cultivate maize in 125,000 hectares, for which measures will be taken to get the seeds. Operations of the Western Terminal of the Colombo Harbour will commence in 2024. An amount of $700 million have been spent on this project. The investors of the project, Colombo West International Terminal Company, states that they expect to complete the construction of the project in 2025. These details were disclosed at the progress review meeting held with the participation of the Minister Nimas Ripala de Silva. This terminal can handle 1.6 million containers. It is also capable of handling large ships which can carry 2,400 containers. The Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment has introduced 3 telephone numbers to get information, including a hotline number to refer problems related to obtaining electric vehicle import permits. The necessary information can be obtained by making a phone call to Mr. Prabodha Kagoda Arachi on hotline number 0773 039 034 or 0112 368 175 or to the Senior Assistant Secretary Control of the Ministry on 0112 582 447. Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manushana Naikara recently obtained the approval of the Cabinet to allow migrant workers to import an electric vehicle based on the amount they remit to the country through official channels. The government would endeavour to establish a credible truth-seeking mechanism within the framework of the Constitution. The contours of such a model that would suit the particular conditions of Sri Lanka are under discussion. The recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on appraisal of the findings of previous commissions and committees and the way forward have resulted in the establishment of an advisory board under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, progressive amendments to the PTA and the release of detainees. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri mentioned this while speaking at the 51st regular session of the UN Human Rights Council yesterday. He also said Sri Lanka will replace the PTA with more comprehensive national security legislation in accordance with international best practices. The recent delisting of groups and individuals will provide further impetus for constructive dialogue. The Office of Missing Persons have commenced the process of inquiry and verification, set up separate units on tracing and victim and family support, and acts as an observer of relevant judicial proceedings. Despite economic constraints, the Office of Reparations continues to deliver on its mandate, and the recently adopted National Reparations Policy and Guidelines have expanded the work of the office beyond monetary compensation to other forms of support. The Foreign Minister said necessary support and resources to strengthen the functioning of the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation and the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka continue to be provided. The outreach to overseas Sri Lankans, encompassing all communities and generations, will be expanded through the establishment of an office for overseas Sri Lankans, thus facilitating more vigorous engagement. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
The financial advisory group Lazard has started talks with India, China and Japan on restructuring Sri Lanka's debt, a spokesman for the government said today. Lazard was hired by Sri Lanka in May along with international lawyers Clifford Chance to guide the government through the process of restructuring its debt, for which estimates a range from 85 to well over $100 billion. Acting Cabinet spokesperson Ramesh Pathirana told reporters, referring to Lazard, that they are in the process of speaking to India, China, Japan, mainly to ensure we come to some sort of consensus. Interparliamentary Union Secretary General Martin Shangong and Senior Program Officer Lawrence Mazel held discussions with Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena about the issues pertaining to parliamentary democratic practices in Sri Lanka at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo yesterday. The Prime Minister elaborated the steps taken to strengthen participatory democracy by the establishment of more powerful and strong sectoral oversight committees, which included public participation. He expressed satisfaction over the agreement reached on the formation of the National Council with the participation of all political parties of the House. He told the IPU delegation that Sri Lanka parliamentary debates are open on live television, as it is important to keep the public informed of the activities of Parliament. The IPU Secretary General commended the efforts made by the government in responding to the needs and demands of the people. He highlighted the importance of youth participation and their involvement in national debate. Mr. Shangong emphasized on the need to strengthen the participation of women in politics and other vulnerable groups to ensure inclusive governance. The Minister of Health points out that the health sector of the country is strong enough to continuously provide medicine and treatment needed by the patients in spite of the economic condition of the country. Priority has been given to the Minister of Health when providing financial allocations. The Secretary to the Ministry, Janaka Sri Chandragupta, stated that the Ministry pays attention to the provision of medicine and the medical equipment. He further said that sufficient allocations for the years 2022 and 2023 have been made to the Ministry. These details were revealed at the press conference held today at the Health Ministry. That ends local news for now.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Cabinet has approved the allocation of $100 million through the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank for the Ministry of Health to procure essential medicines and supplies. In a statement, the Government Information Department said the AIIB has agreed to provide the said amount by allotting $70 million through the Colombo Urban Regeneration Project and $30 million through the reduction of landslide vulnerability by the Mitigation Measures Project. That came to you on our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watch Light this evening, the Secretary to the Minister of Public Administration says 19th of September has been declared a special holiday for all government institutions. In a circular, Mr. MMPK Mayadunne said this holiday should not cause any hindrance to the delivery of essential services of the government. That came to you in Watch Light. Coming up, world news and the headlines first. Thousands of people queue overnight to pay respects to the Queen. Arrests of protesters prompt free speech concerns. Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae becomes the first Asian to win Best Drama Actor at the Emmy Awards. Thousands of people have been queuing up through the night to see the Queen's coffin at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. Mourners continue to file past slowly. Yesterday evening, Queen's 4 children kept traditional vigil as she lay at rest. The Queen's coffin will remain at the cathedral before beginning the journey to London. It will be taken to Buckingham Palace and then to Westminster Hall, where the Queen will lie in state for 4 days. Free speech campaigners have said the arrests of protesters after the death of Queen Elizabeth II are deeply concerning. Police in Scotland have arrested 2 people in recent days, while a man was arrested and de-arrested in Oxford. The arrest came at events to mark the Queen's death and proclaim King Charles III Britain's new monarch. In London, as queues begin for the lying in state, the Met Police said people have a right to protest. Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae has become the first Asian star to win the Emmy Award for Best Male Actor in a Drama. The South Korean won for playing the main role of the increasingly desperate Seong Gi-hung in the hit Netflix show. The show's creator, Hwang Dong-yuk, won the Best Drama Series Director Prize, also the first Asian to do so. Ted Lasso won Best Comedy Series for the second year in a row, while Outstanding Drama went to Succession, also for a second year running. Back to the world news headlines. Thousands of people queue overnight to pay respects to the Queen. Arrests of protesters prompt free speech concerns. Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae becomes the first Asian to win Best Drama Actor at the Emmy Awards. That ends World News. Continuing with development news, a preliminary discussion was held between the Asian Development Bank and the government of Sri Lanka yesterday, focusing on several areas where the ADB can provide support and bilateral cooperation to the government of Sri Lanka to overcome the current crisis. The discussion was held at the Presidential Secretariat. The discussion was held with the group representatives, including President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Director General of the South Asian Department of the Asian Development Bank, Kenichi Yogokama. That was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sports news, cricket. Former India captain Mithali Raj says the introduction of a Women's Indian Premier League will lead to a big-time change in women's cricket in India and beyond. India are in England for a multi-format white ball series which begins with 320 internationals from 10th September and finishes with 3 one-day internationals, with the final one at Lord's. The women's game continues to grow with record attendance at every ground in the hundreds, which finished earlier this month. That came to you in Sports News.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Kiddos, Sri Lanka's first ever baby and kids online marketplace, has been unveiled as the latest venture of leading Sri Lankan company Limra Holdings Limited. Kiddos marketplace provides parents and gift givers an online experience that connects them with trusted global and local brands, traditional retailers, and a unique network of home-based retailers. Kiddos allows customers to shop for a wide selection of products for mothers, babies, and kids. That ends Business News.
Business News, Sponsored by
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB. Now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, the approval of the Cabinet has been granted to appoint a 5-member Cabinet subcommittee to take expeditious decisions on economic revival and development. The subcommittee will comprise the President, the Prime Minister and members of the Cabinet or Ministers. Taking into account the need for measures to revive and develop the country's economy in the face of the crisis situation, the Cabinet has approved the proposal tabled by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. That came to you in economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Finally, the weather report. The Met Department says a few showers will occur in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. Low-income families will be provided financial assistance for the next 3 months. The Minister of Agriculture alleges that activities of some officials delayed the purchasing of paddy. Operations of the western terminal of the Colombo Harbour will commence in 2024. 3 telephone numbers introduced for overseas employees to inquire on importing electric vehicles. And on foreign news, thousands of people queue overnight to pay respects to the Queen. And on sports news, Mithali Raj predicts bright future for women's cricket in India. That ends this news broadcast.